Okay, hey, it's Strodio C at Storytell, and I'm here with Aaron, our principal engineer. And we're so excited to share with you what's coming in Storytell. And so this is going to be a demo, and we'd love your feedback. We love to build for our users. The first thing to understand is that Storytell is going way beyond chats. And so we're showing you here the chat screen, which if you know Storytell in production today, you know it's a very powerful way to be able to chat across all of your data. As compared to like a chat GPT where you can chat with a file or a couple files, Storytell allows you to chat with all of your content. And so that's a very powerful thing that users love today. And so we're not going to talk a lot about that here because you can already do that. What we're going to talk about is how we're extending that functionality to really help you ensure better outcomes for yourself and your team and your company based on this idea of concepts and actions. And so, Aaron, I'm going to turn it over to you, and let's dive in.
Thank you, Trudio. So let's take a look at concepts. So concepts is kind of a worldview of all of the entities or objects, people, companies, competitors, products, services that are coming from all the data that you're ingesting into Storytell. So for example, I can click on this Microsoft Cloud concept, and every time an annual report, a CSV file, a PowerPoint, an email, whatever content is flowing through Storytell, we are scanning it and extracting the key entities, the key concepts of your knowledge. And so when something material changes, you might want to know about it, such as revenue, a customer's churn risk has changed. And we're building this worldview across all of the data that's flowing through Storytell for you, and making it easy for you to chat with it, to automate tasks, to connect one entity to another entity, and just really connect everything together. And so this view of Microsoft Cloud, all of this knowledge was extracted from like the quarterly earnings reports that we uploaded that Microsoft makes public. And we can see that Microsoft Cloud is connected to these other entities, these other concepts such as LinkedIn. And we can see that LinkedIn is connected to Microsoft Cloud. And as data flows through the system, the picture of Microsoft Cloud changes. And so we can go to the timeline view, for example, and we can see that when a new annual report was uploaded, that revenue figures changed. And so you can get a view of this concept as it's changing over time, which can be a person, a place, a thing, a contract, really anything that's important to you and your organization. And you can subscribe to be notified when something important changes. For example, I might want to snooze notifications because I'm going on vacation, or I might want notifications to happen anytime something significant changes, such as the churn risk has increased by more than 10%. We can see who else wants to be notified when Microsoft Cloud changes. And we can also subscribe to entire classes of concepts, such as a product, a competitor, small, medium-sized businesses. Now, the way that these concepts are put together is Storytell watching all of the data that is being ingested and flowing through our system, whether it's an email that's forwarded, a PDF, a PowerPoint, whatever data you provided. And we're gathering all that data and putting it into one central view, one concept. But you can also take control over that algorithm. And so you could come in and manually say, I want to pay attention to these types of attributes, but always ignore technical troubleshooting tickets. And so whether it's at an individual concept level like Microsoft Cloud or a category of concepts like products, you can provide custom instructions to help put together the worldview that makes sense for you and your organization.
And Aaron, I'm so excited to see this. And one of the big ideas here that I just want to make sure that we share with the world is how revolutionary it is to be able to have a common framework or language, a knowledge graph across all of this unstructured content that usually you cannot use together. So if I have CSVs and I've got system logs and I've got Zoom calls and I've got emails, that's all like a soup of unstructured data in my organization that I can't turn into a strategic asset. But with Storytell, now we suddenly have this layer where we're making sense of it in a way that I can do things with it. And that is just incredible that we're dynamically creating this for the organization to now make it valuable to the org. And yeah, this is great, Aaron. Maybe we talk about like how varied concepts can be here.
Yeah, so not all concepts are the same. People are not places, and places are not contracts. And so we can see here on this manufacturing line one that the key metrics are completely different. There's no revenue figures associated with it. And we also have the ability to take control. We could edit this, and that would come with a 100% confidence rating, and it would be attributed to you instead of some PowerPoint document. You can remove these properties. We can create relationships, and we can organize the permissions too. That's an important part. Because these concepts are being sourced from our workspaces and projects, which is how permissions are managed, you might have a worldview of something like Microsoft Cloud. But if your organization is doing an acquisition and only a certain number of people can know about that, their worldview won't include that information because they don't have access to it. And so as we ingest all of this information and we break it up into chunks, making sure that the permissions are applied correctly, and you're able to see a worldview of what you're allowed to see, and then be notified when certain key things change, material changes happen. I think it's a pretty powerful system that works for a lot of different industries and a lot of different problem domains. So we'll go ahead and take a look at David Chen here as well. David Chen is a supervisor who supervises a manufacturing line. And again, different properties, different attributes, very different from Microsoft Cloud.
Okay, so now we have this common language across all of this unstructured data. You know, like 80% of a company's data, the majority of its institutional knowledge is unstructured. So think about this as creating this common language and structure around all that data. And now we can do things with it. And so maybe we share a little bit about, okay, what are the actions that I can take with these concepts?
Yeah, so actions are prompts that can watch specific data, watch for specific changes in data, and then take action on that data. And so, for example, we can take a look at the sales pipeline review here. And here we want to review the sales team's pipeline for Q1. We want to identify any deals that are at risk for opportunities and opportunities for upselling. And then we want to alert sales managers by email for deals over $100,000. And so as we enter this prompt, we can run it manually. We can set it to run on a schedule, or we can set it to be triggered anytime data flowing in through the data we're watching has changed. This prompt will automatically run, and if there's a new $100,000 deal, sales managers would be notified. So as we put this prompt in or create a new one, we can start from a template. So it's easy to say duplicate this and make a couple of changes and have two. Maybe there's one that's a $50,000 action and one that's a $100,000 action. Otherwise, they're the same. We explain how this prompt works, and then we're also scanning the health of all of the integrations and data that we're watching. So for example, we have a scenario set up here where we'll go down to our production line quality analysis. In this particular action, we want to evaluate a specific production line for any robot log data. And we want to also look at worker escalations of quality issues on that same line. And if we find any new issues since the last run, we want to notify the line manager via the text message. And so here we explain how this prompt is going to work. And then we also want to make sure that all of those line managers have phone numbers set up so we can send them a text. And in this case, we have two line managers who do have their cell phone numbers, but Dave Chen doesn't have information. He wasn't on the employee directory that was fed into Storytell, where we extracted the phone number and associated it with his concept. And so you could either upload a new employee directory, hopefully it's connected to something like Microsoft Active Directory, or you can go in manually and just add David's cell phone number there. So this particular action is degraded. It means that two line managers would receive the text message, but not David, because the cell phone number just isn't there for him yet.
And Aaron, there's a really, really important thing that's happening here, which is we are making it possible to evaluate machine level robot log data along with worker quality escalations. Let's say that is data that came in through emails where workers are worried about, issues on the production line. Those are two very different types of data that normally you could not evaluate together. Not only can you evaluate them together with Storytell, but now you can also create actionability around them. And so I talked about how Storytell, it's not just knowledge management, but it's about producing better outcomes and being able to make it so that actions can be taken that otherwise you have no hope of being able to affect. And I think this is a really good example of how, yeah, it's great to be able to evaluate both. You can do that today with Storytell in chat, but now it's not just about that. It's about David Chen getting a text message. He doesn't even need to know what Storytell is, right? He's getting a text message when there's something that impacts his ability to do his job better. And that's such a magical experience to receive that signal. That signal gets pushed to me as David, and now I can do my job more effectively than I otherwise could. That is incredible. Okay, so we've got concepts, we've got actions, and is there anything else, Aaron, that you want to share or request from anybody who's watching this video before we wrap up?
Well, always request feedback, please. We really appreciate it when you take the time to share what you're thinking and what you're hearing, and we learn a lot. So feedback would be greatly appreciated.
We love building for users, and there's a number of users that we've built this based on requests that you've made, so we're excited to show it to you. And if we don't know about you yet, you can request early access to Storytell, and so you would be among the first to get this, and we'd love to have you do that. And I'll share a link when I post this video about how. Okay. All right, Aaron, thank you so much for the demo. Can't wait to get this out into the world.
Thank you.